Hi, Form 4 Chapter 5 Chemistry, video number 2. Okay, so last video we talked about noble gas. They are stable, so no chemical bond exists in the noble gas atoms. And now, new title: the formation of ionic bond, 离子的 bond, positive ion, negative ion, they join together. So this is what we call ionic bonds. Okay, how to write the chemical formula for ionic compounds? Still remember in chapter 3. To write the chemical formula of ionic compound, 要写出 ionic compound 的 chemical formula. Okay, if you want to write the chemical formula for ionic compound, you have to remember the cation and anion formula. Still remember? What is mean by cation and anion formula? Sodium atom, when it become ion, it will become sodium ion. So this is a formula. And the ion charge positive, 它的离子 charge positive. So this is a formula 啦。Last time always remind you, you have to remember. 你必须背啦。Okay, so this is what happened last time. 以前在第3课的 ，OK， at least you understand where is ionic compound come from？ 什么叫离子的化合物，对不对 ？They are the compound formed between the metal and non-metal， 金属跟非金属形成的化合物啦。This is what we call ionic compound. But how the ionic compound form？ 这种离子的化合物怎样形成的呢 ？OK。last time in chapter 3, to form the ionic compounds, 要写出 ionic compound the chemical formula, we remember, okay, the ionic formula 啦。So the chemical formula of potassium oxide, potassium and oxygen join together become potassium oxide. But how to write the chemical formula? Still remember? You remember the cations of the potassiums, or you remember the anion called oxide, 对不对 So after this, they cross a number, 他们交换 number. I give you 2, you give me 1. So finally, you having the chemical formula called potassium oxide, 对不对 So this is how you write the chemical bond, or you write the formula of the ionic compound. 你写出 ionic compound 的 chemical bonds, okay? But today it will be different. Today we more to sentence. 我们用句子来讲这个东西的。Where is the potassium oxide come from? How they can join together become potassium oxides? So 今天我们要讲的是句子的东西来的 ，okay? And now we start from the basic. 我们从 basic 开始。Formation of the ion, 离子从哪里来？加的离子，减的离子。Cation and anion, where they come from? 慢慢 okay? An atom is neutral. When you call atom must be neutral. Okay? If the atom is not neutral, don't call atoms. So an atom is neutral as a number of electrons equal to the number of proton. Atom 是 neutral 因为它的 number of proton equal to the number of electrons. Okay? When atom lost or gain the electron, 当 atom 不见 electron, 收到 electron, it will become the charged particle, 它就带电了。Okay? And the charged particle is called ion. So what is mean by ion? 什么叫离子呢？带电的原子就叫离子 ，positive or negative 不要管它，只要原子带电了就不叫原子 ，we call ion 就叫离子 ，OK？ So now new formation of the cation. Or what is mean by cation? 什么叫 cation? Positive or negative? Positive. But how I know positive? You see at the center of the name you can see a positive. 在它名字中间有没有看到一个 positive？Okay, so formation of the cation or formation of the positive ion. 加的离子从哪里来呢 The metal atom of the group 1, group 2, and group 13 in the periodic table, they having 1 for group 1, 2 for group 2, and 3 for group number 13. Okay, so the metallic atom from the group 1, group 2, group 13 in the periodic table, 它们有1粒、2粒和3粒的 valence electron respectively， 对不对 ？OK， 这个你明白啊 ？Announce this metal atom tend to lose all their valence electrons, okay, to attain the stable duplex or octet electron arrangement in the chemical reactions. Okay, so group 1 having 1 valence electrons, group 2 having 2 valence electron, group 13 having 3 valence electron. But all the atoms here, they like to lose all their valence electrons to make themselves stable, to make themselves become duplex stable or maybe octet stable electron arrangements Okay, so what happened when they lost all the valence electron? 当然 electron 丢掉过后，不见到完过后，什么事情会发生呢？ So when the electron is lost, proton more than the electron. When the proton more than the electron, the atom will be charged. When they charge, they become ion. So the ion form is positive charge. 它形成的离子就带电，它的电是加 ，and we call it as cation. 这种离子就叫 cation 加的离子。Okay, so where is a cation come from? Cation actually they come from the metallic atom lost the electrons. Okay, finally they charge positive 就叫 cation. Okay, any example 有什么 example 呢 ？Check your notes 啊，第几面不知道，第2、3面呢？Follow me. Magnesium atom having 2 trial proton, trial electrons. So magnesium atom actually is neutral 不带电。Okay, but not stable. Why not stable? Because of the 2 valence electron on the uppermost occupied shell. Magnesium atom is not stable. Okay, so right here, magnesium atom is neutral but not stable. 它虽然 neutral， 不过它不高兴，它没有开心，它不 stable. So what happens if the magnesium atom is not stable? During the chemical reactions, magnesium like to lose the 2 valence electron. 它喜欢丢掉它那2粒多余的 electrons. And finally, what happens? So magnesium lost 2 electrons to become the magnesium ion. Magnesium 丢掉它的2粒 electron， 然后变成 magnesium 2的离子。Okay? Or what is this? 这个东西叫什么东西呢？ We call this as half equations. 所以写在你的 notes， 这种情况我们叫它 half equation. Okay? But why we call this as half equation? 为什么你叫它 half equation? 它只有一半的化学反应。When the magnesium lost 2 electrons, it must be somebody gain the electrons. Magnesium 一丢，别人一定拿，那个别人是谁？另外一半，对不对？当你送花，一定有人拿花，那个拿花的还没有讲出来。So that's why we just can call this as half equation. 这种情况只能变成 half equation. Okay? But how to write the half equation? Maybe I have to start a bit here 了。我要开始一点点了。怎样写 half equation 呢？有什么方法呢 ？Okay. The first step 第一个步骤。When you want to write the half equation, you must know the reactant 跟 product. 你一定要知道你的反应体跟你的 product 是谁。So today magnesium going to lose the electron and finally become the final product. 最后变成最后的 product 就叫 magnesium ion 呢 ，magnesium 的离子。Okay, but magnesium lost the electrons. Magnesium lost electron. You can write here less 2 electron, 对不对？ Magnesium 丢掉2粒的 electron, become magnesium ion, 变成 magnesium 的离子。But remember, when we write the chemical equation, 当我们写化学反应的时候 no one is allowed to write negative. 没有人可以写 negative. So that's why what to do? 怎么办呢？ We have to move the negative, go to the right hand side, become positive. 我们必须把那个 negative 呢移去右手边，写成 positive. And this is the law. 这个就是它的规则来的。Okay, so 这样读了 ，magnesium lost 2 electron， 它本来是碱的嘛 ，OK， magnesium 丢掉2粒的 electron， become magnesium 2， 变成了 magnesium 2，OK， so this is half equation， 第一个步骤 ，OK，sorry， so 讲到一半不准确了。So the first step, you have to write the reactant 跟 product, 反应体跟 product. Magnesium going to lose electron, become the magnesium ion. 这是第一个步骤。And second step, 第二个步骤是什么呢？ From the left hand side and the right hand side, the number of atoms must be equal. Magnesium atom make up of 1 atom. Magnesium ion is made up of 1 atom. So the number of atoms actually is equal 啦，它已经平均了，所以不用做什么。第二个步骤。And third step, you have to make sure the charge between the left and the right must be equal. 左手边跟右手边的 charge 一定要一样。Magnesium atom no charge, so the charge is 0. 0 Magnesium ion the charge is 2 positive 2加2，对不对？0跟加2 they are not balanced. So what to do？ 有什么方法给它 balance？ So to balance the half equation, you just having one method only. 你只有一个方法罢了 ，add electron 加 electron 给它。But where you should add your electron？ 你必须把 electron 加在哪里呢？左手边、右手边呢 ？OK？ So positive 2 you add another 2 electron， 你加2粒 electron。 positive 2 negative 2，对不对 ？negative 2 so it becomes 0啦 ，equal to the left hand side， 跟左手边一模一样。Okay, so chapter 5 half equation is not the main title 啦 ，but you have to know the half equation start from chapter 5。所以我们慢慢开始了。等一下第6、第7课的时候它就出来了。So magnesium lost 2 electrons become the magnesium ion， 这个东西叫 half equation. When the magnesium lost 2 electrons, okay, finally what happened to the magnesiums? It will be 12 protons joined together with the 10 electrons. 12粒的 proton joined with the 10 electrons, okay? So proton more than electron, magnesium atom will be charged. When the magnesium atom becomes charged, we don't call atom anymore, we call magnesium ion， 就叫它 magnesium 的离子。Okay, so now what happened to the magnesiums? Magnesium now become charged, but at the same time, when it becomes charged, it becomes stable. 它就变成了 stable and attains the octet electron arrangement. 它就拿到了它要的 electron arrangement， 就是 octet 了。So magnesium become charged, become ion, but at the same time, magnesium becomes stable. 它已经变成 stable and become magnesium ion 了。OK， 就变成了 magnesium 的离子了。Okay, and right here, magnesium becomes stable, but 它 stable 了，它高兴了，不过它却带电了，它的电是2加的。Okay, how I know they are stable？ 我怎样知道这个 magnesium 已经 stable？ 那 the bracket here， 这个 bracket 呢，就是它 stable 过后变成的，才能画出来的。So the bracket means stable 了，不过它 stable 过后，它却带电了，变成离子了 ，2 plus。Okay, another example， 这下一个 example 我不要讲这样多了，我直接走过给你熟就可以了。Magnesium atom having 12 proton, 13 proton, 13 electrons. So magnesium atom is neutral but not stable. And because of the 3 valence electron, magnesium aluminum atom must lose all the 3 valence electron to make itself become stable. Okay, so during the chemical reaction, 每当有化学反应发生 ，aluminum atom lost 3 electron， 它丢掉它的3粒 electron. And how to write the half equation for aluminium lost the 3 electron？ 这样写它的 half equation 呢 ？You want to try or not？ 要自己 try 先吗？ Okay, so aluminium lost 3 electron. Aluminium 丢掉它的3粒 electron, become magnesium ion. Aluminium lost 3 electron， 不可以写碱啊。And become magnesium ion， 变成了 magnesium 的离子。Okay, so now what happened to the aluminium? Aluminium 现在又有什么事情发生了 ？Okay, so aluminium ion will be formed. Aluminium 的离子形成了 ，make up of 13 proton and 10 electrons， 13粒的 proton， 10粒的 electron。So aluminium become ion， proton more than ion， 超过3粒，所以它的价是3加。Okay， 不可以写加3，一定要写3加。So aluminium now becomes stable. How you know？ 这个 bracket 就是代表 stable， but charge 这边就是它的 charge， 它已经带电了 3 positive。So 金属的原子丢掉 electron 变成加的离子。Why？ They want to they want to attain the stable octet electron arrangement， 要不然就留 black。So that's why 他们宁愿他喜欢他愿意的变成离子了。Okay， so this is where the cation ion come from， 加的离子就是这样子跑出来的。Next, formation of the anion 碱的离子。How I know this is negative？ 你们看到这个碱啊 ？Okay， 那个碱的字就在那边了。So where are the anions come from？ 负离子、碱的离子从哪里来的 ？The non-metal atom of group 15, 16, 17 in the periodic table, they having 5 valence electrons, 6 valence electrons, 7 valence electrons respectively. Group 15有5粒 ，Group 16有6粒 ，Group 17有7粒，对不对？ Okay, and because of the 5, 6, and 7 valence electrons, they are not octet， 它没有 octet。So they are not stable， 它自己不 stable， 对不对 ？So these non-metal atoms tend to gain the electrons to attain the stable octet electron arrangement in chemical reaction. So 因为有5粒、6粒跟7粒的 valence electron， they are not stable. They like to gain the electron。它要丢掉5粒很难，它要丢掉7粒很难。So 它用收的方法，收3粒、收2粒、收1粒。OK， 你要送7个人花很难。 ，OK， 然后别人要送一朵花给你，很容易了。So this metal atom like to gain the electron to attain the stable electron arrangement called octet 啦。So finally, when they gain the electron， 它收到别人的 electron， it will become the negative ions， 它就带电了，它的电是减，因为 electron 太多。So the ion form is negatively charged and called anion， 就叫负离子了，减的离子。Okay， so this is where the anion come from. But any example 有什么例子呢？Okay, so chlorine having 17 proton, 17 electron, 2.8.7, and because 0.7, okay, chlorine is neutral, but because of 0.7, chlorine is not stable. Okay, so chlorine atom is neutral, but atom 一定是 neutral 啦 but not stable. So what happens? Okay, how to make itself become stable? 怎样把它自己变成 stable 呢？ So during the chemical reaction, chlorine atom going to gain 1 electron, but why gain 1, not lost 7? Okay, 收人家1块钱容易，丢掉自己的7块钱非常困难，对不对？ So chlorine atom gain 1 electrons during the chemical reaction, but how to write the half equation? 怎样写出它的 half equation 呢？我再写一次给你看，因为我会写嘛，所以就一直写了。Okay, chlorine atoms, okay, going to gain 1 electrons, and finally chlorine atom 如果它收到 electron, it will become chloride， 它就变成 chloride 的离子了。Okay, so the number of atom 第一个步骤 reactant 跟 product 写出来了。Second step 看它的 atom, chlorine atom 1 atom 啦。Okay, so chloride ion made up of 1 atom, so the number of atom is also equal. And how about the charge? Chlorine atom charge 0.Chloride -1. So how to make the charge become equal? Add electron only lah. So chlorine gain 1 electron, 它收到1粒 electron, and finally become chloride 啦，把自己变成 stable 的 chloride. Okay, 这样子写。So chlorine atom gain 1 electrons, become chloride, and after the chlorine atom gain 1 electron, become chloride. So now you can see 7 proton join with 18 electrons. 17的 proton join with 18 electrons. So finally it become what? 它变成了什么呢？ charge. And the charge is negative. 多了1粒 electron. So the charge is negative. Okay. But now what happened to the chlorine atom? Chlorine atom 现在 when it becomes charged, what happens? 那它变带电了。But at the same time, it becomes stable 了。它切 stable 了。Stable.So chloride ion is stable. Chlorine 变成了 chloride， 它已经 stable, but charge 不过它却带电了。So anion come from where？ 它从哪里来 ？Non-metallic atom gain the electron， 非金属的原子收到 electron 过后，变成那个带电的离子了，碱的离子，负离子。Okay. Another example. Okay. Oxygen having 8 proton, 8 electrons, so the electron arrangement.2.6 2.6. Oxygen atom is neutral but not stable. 它虽然 neutral， 不过它不 stable。一边上 ，OK。So what happened or how to make itself become stable？ 怎样给它自己变成 stable 呢 ？During the chemical reactions, oxygen atom going to gain 2 electrons， 它就收到2粒的 electron。So oxygen atom gain 2 electrons to become oxide， 它收到2粒的 electron。把自己变成新的离子，变成 oxide。Okay, so 8 proton join with 10 electrons. Okay, 跟10粒的 electron join together. Electron more than protons, so oxygen atom now become charged. When it charged, we call ion. But the oxygen ion, we don't call oxygen ion. We call it as oxide ion. 这种情况，我们把它叫成 oxide。Okay, so when oxygen atom become oxide ions, it will become stable. How I know? The bracket here means stable lah. So oxygen atom now become charged, but at the same time it becomes stable. 它带电了，不过它干焰了，它变成 stable 去了，它收到它要的东西了。所以有些人喜欢丢金属，有些人喜欢拿非金属，一个丢，一个就拿， so they join together.它们就能结合在一起，变成新的化合物了。Okay. But now 还有一点点。In order to attain the stable octet electron arrangement, atom of group 15 element they can what? So group 15 the element they're having 5 valence electrons. Okay, 它有5粒的 valence electrons. So to make itself become stable, 为了把自己变成 stable, what they can do? They can lose the 5 electrons. 它可以把后面的5粒 electron 丢掉。Or maybe they can gain 3 electrons from others. 要不然就收到别人的3粒 electron. Or for you 啦，你自己想一下啦。OK， 你要丢5朵花比较好呢，还是收人家的3朵花呢 ？OK， 要丢5还是要收3呢？收3比较好嘛，对不对 ？So, in order to make the group number 15 become stable, they're having 2 methods 啦。The first method, gain 3 electron， 它可能收到3粒的 electron。Or maybe lost 5 electron， 要不然就丢掉5粒的 electron。And which one will be preferred？ 哪一个方法比较好呢？你比较喜欢呢？你想你自己都可以的啦。收到3束花还是送5束花，哪一个比较好？感觉比较好呢 ？Gain 3， 收到3束的花，对不对 ？So that's why, okay, that's why group 15 they're going to gain 3 electron and not lost 5 electron. So less energy is need to gain 3 electron than lost 5 electrons. 要收到3粒 electron 比较容易过你丢5粒的 electron. So therefore, an atom of group 15, they will gain 3 electrons to form an ion with a charge -3 啦。So group 15的人5粒 electron， 他就拿到3粒的 electron， 然后变成碱的离子。OK， better 啦，这样子比较好。Any example？ 有什么例子呢？ Nitrogen atom having 7 protons, 7 electrons, 2.5. So nitrogen atom is neutral, but 0.5 not stable. Neutral but not stable. And how to make itself become stable? During a chemical reaction, nitrogen atom going to gain 3 electrons. 它就会收到3粒的 electron. Okay, so 写多一次 half equation. Nitrogen atom gain 3 electrons and finally become the nitrate ion， 变成一种新的离子，就叫 nitrate 的离子。OK， so N -3 negative 7 proton 10 electron。Okay, it become octet electron arrangements. 不过现在它带电了，它的电是减3 ，so nitrate ion will be formed. 这个就是我们的新离子。Okay, it becomes charged, but at the same time become stable. 它带电了，不过却 stable 了。OK。Okay, so this is where the anion and cation come from. 加的离子、减的离子从哪里来 ？Okay, set for this side. Bye bye.